Yo, welcome to Pitch Report. I'm Mario.
And I'm Amilcar. How you doing over there, Mario?
Oh, not as good as you. I am doing well, but I just can't imagine being any better than you. We're a week delayed, but Spain are World Cup champions for the second time in 16 years. How are you doing, Amilcar?
I'm feeling amazing. Cloud nine. I think I've come down a little bit now since the anxiety and stress of about a week ago, but still so excited, so pumped. No tears. Hate to say it, Mario. Look, my sisters were both staring at me to see if I was going to cry because they heard the episode.
No, wait, you did not cry, Amilcar.
No.
Dude, what? How do you not cry?
You, like right when it happened. You literally saw my vivid face.
I know, but I thought maybe at some point or like after the fact, I'm sure like on Spanish TV, there's like these like kind of like the recaps of everything and all the moments.
I don't know, man. For some reason, I'm just like I was saying last time, I'm not a big like crier when it comes to like live sports things like that. Like I said, I feel like I'll go back and watch the moment that they scored the goal and I'll get like chills and stuff, but not like an active emotion like that. If it was like a sports movie or something, probably would get me, but not a live sports thing, man. But I'll say super pumped, super excited. We had like a bunch of people over at our house to watch it, and so we had like all Spain themed and whatnot, and we had like all the face paints and everything. So we tried to go all out. So I'm very excited that they won because that would have been a very disappointing end to the party if it was going to be a loss.
Oh yeah, I think football definitely won with Spain winning the trophy.
To say the least.
Yeah. Oh man, I still can't believe you didn't cry.
No, not a crier, man. But I did wear this shirt. This is like my lucky shirt. I wore it for like the last couple of rounds, and now I'm like, oh, so it's gonna be old now. People are gonna know it's an old shirt. Now I only got one star on it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, you can add another one, but they probably are going to like move it over,
like shift it. It's like on center. I think I saw people that were because this is kind of like what do you call it? It feels like vinyl.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's not stitched, but people were basically taking these off and then stitching like the two stars on these existing shirts. But this one's from the 2000 the Euros. So 2020 no 2024 when they won the Euros this last time.
Is that the Lamine Jamal one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. That's
I was actually so excited that he wore 19 this year because I keep for some reason buy jerseys of players and then they change their numbers. Like I have a Real Madrid jersey from Alvaro Morata for like, he ended up being there for like 3 seasons, but he was number 21. And then not the next season, he was like number, I don't know, one of the lower numbers. Then I have like my Ronaldo, like Cristiano Ronaldo, but he wore 9 for literally 1 season. And I had that jersey. And he switched numbers. So that's why I was excited when I saw Lamine Yamal stuck with 19 and he didn't just like switch right after. So I was like, all right, cool. Like at least I have this jersey that for a couple of years,
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations. You're gonna have a second star. You can put like a little pimple patch in the meantime. The little star ones that
yeah, exactly. So yeah, very excited about it. Very pumped. The game was honestly like very crazy. I think my like whoop was like, oh dude, you've been working out for like 4 hours or something like that. I like recorded a workout because my heart rate was so high, and it's like it was a lot of like getting up and screaming and then sitting down, and then getting up and screaming and then sitting down, and it was just like back and forth, and yeah.
Dude, right. How were you feeling at the end of the game? Because basically, Spain was doing what Spain does. They dominate possession. They dominate control of the game. And then Argentina was kind of doing what they'd done, especially through the knockout phase where like sometimes they're outplayed, but then they somehow, it didn't happen this time, but they find a way to just get like the winning goal at the end. And I was at least asking it like semi-neutral. I was rooting for Spain as well. I was getting nervous that they were going to like do it again because like it was like 90 plus minutes. We went into extra time and no goal yet.
Yeah, I think it was definitely very stressful in the beginning. Not probably in the beginning, like halfway through when I was like, okay, we haven't scored, but we're very clearly dominating the game. Like it was, if it had to do with who played better, we would have won 6-0, right?
Yeah, totally.
But that doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, what matters is like finishing the plays. And there was a couple that like, let me take a step back. Like they played insane defense. Like as much as like they were like, it was kind of dirty, a lot of fouls, like kind of like muddy, didn't really like, I feel like for neutrals, like it probably wasn't a super exciting game to watch because it just was like stop and go. And, there wasn't a lot of flow to it, at least in my opinion. So I think that kind of was a little bit stressful in the beginning. because I was like, dude, they just keep defending, and all you need is just one counterattack and one goal, and then good luck. Like, you know, and then it has to do, like we've said plenty of times during the World Cup, it's like the best team doesn't always win, is who executed. Like, and their game plan coming into this, it seemed like, was sit back, muddy it up, beat them up, come out on a counter, score a goal, and then just either that, or towards the end it was like, let's just go to penalties. Like, and then it's anybody's game, right? And then it doesn't matter if you're outmatched or not. I think when the red card happened, I was like, all right, it's over. Like, I think I was like, there's no way that you can stop this Spain team for that long with 10 men. Like, I think it would be hard enough with 11, but with 10, I was like, all right, much more comfortable. But obviously, going to penalties was like the worst thing that could happen, because at that point, like, it has nothing to do with how you played. It just has to do with like that moment, that second. And I was like, we cannot go to penalties. Like, whatever happens has got to be ended in extra time in this situation.
Yeah, and if you go to penalties, I would almost give Argentina the advantage at that point, because they feel like, hey, the fact that we like brought him here, we won it this way the previous World Cup, so I think we can take it again this time around.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a lot of like the momentum, right? Is kind of how you're going with, and that's what they've been riding all the time, and that's why, honestly, even after Spain scored the first goal, I was still like uneasy, because they obviously flipped the switch, right? They were like attacking like hardcore, and then having so many shots. Two of them, two shots, no shots on target, right? But like 2 shots, period. But I was just like, all it takes is one kick, one deflection, one little thing, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's a tie game and you're going to penalties. So it was still very anxious, and like I think they ended up calling like, it was like 7 or 8 minutes, something crazy, which
it was insane.
Thought was ridiculous. Like, it should have been like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that, and they did something ridiculous. And I was like, okay, that tracks. You know, I feel like that's kind of been the thing when Argentina's losing, give them like, you know, a lot of extra time to at least try and come back with it. But it wasn't until the final whistle I was like, all right, like, take a deep breath, it's over. And it was good. So, but it's funny because the last World Cup final was similar. It was like 116th minute, so even closer to potential penalties as well, with this Iniesta goal last time. So,
dang. And you had an F Torres on the field both times as well.
Yeah. Not like when I was talking shit the other day, when I was like, oh, this is the real Torres, when I was wearing my Ferran Torres jersey, and then plot twist, it was this Torres that ended up scoring. But honestly, this is like why your World Cup can be defined by anything, right? Like, a lot of people say like Iniesta is their favorite player solely because of that World Cup final, or like when people say like, oh, who's the best player like in Spain's history? A lot of people will go with Iniesta. Not saying he doesn't deserve it, but like I think him, Xavi, like there's like 4 or 5 guys that if you pick any of them, it probably would be fine. But most people not most people, but a lot of people pick Iniesta. They're like, dude, he gave us the glory, you know? So now it's like, are people gonna be like, oh, Ferran Torres, like when I was growing up and I watched Spain, like he hit the game winner, and you know, like you don't think about the whole tournament, you just think about the final, that one moment that he had, and he was able to like to score the goal too. So maybe.
Yeah, I recall when Iniesta was retiring, he had already announced his retirement. Basically, every game that he played, I was in a like standing ovation from all like the fans at both home and away, because basically he had won people over in the sense that he scored the goal that won all of Spain their first World Cup.
Yeah, and I wonder now, like I think Ferran Torres I don't know if he's a free agent, but like he was kind of like on the outs with Barcelona, and then he didn't really have a great World Cup. That was the thing. Like there was so many chances that he missed early on that I think every time that they would bring him in, I'm like, oh, here we go, dude. Like, remember our group chat was always just trolling us because, or like not trolling us, but like I felt personally trolled every time because they're like, you can't kill. What was it? How did they say?
Oh, that was like the best comment. It was like,
you can kill a man, but you can't kill the idea, or something like that. And it was about like Morata because he just like, keeps missing all the shots, and then like you can kill the man, but you can't kill the spirit, or something like that. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Dude, that was hilarious. I think that was maybe Mr. Leo that said that.
Yeah, I don't know who it was, but it was so funny because like they said it when he first came in and missed 2 open chances. I was like, oh, here we go. And then when in the final, I was like, no, not again. But luckily this time he capitalized and ended up putting in the back of the net. So I was excited about that one. And we thought we had a goal with Nico Williams before that, but then there was the foul, which I guess from a potential unbiased, I know you're a little bit biased because obviously you said you're rooting for Spain, but like, did you? I'm not gonna say did you think that was a foul, because I think we can all say it was a foul, but do you think that should have been called before even VAR, before anything? Do you think that like that's something that normally gets called?
Before the time of VAR, that's 100% a goal. It's just
Mhm.
I don't think you really call it back. And now, if that same play would have happened, but it's Argentina that scores, does it get called? I cannot confidently say. I
Yeah.
can confidently say that I think it's the goal stands probably.
It just, and that's the frustrating part about VAR. Sometimes I think that's what people show frustration because, like, if you think about it, did that affect like the play or for the goal? Like, not really, because by the time he got stepped on, the ball was already way past him. So it's like, and that's the annoying part. You know what I mean? Like, it's like something that happens away from the ball that has nothing to do with it, but it was a foul. Because like, I think when you look at it, he stepped on him, right? Like, that's a foul no matter what.
Yeah, totally.
But it's like, should that stop the play? You know, and like, I don't know. And like, and that's where it's like the spirit of the law versus the law. It's like, what do you go with, you know?
Yeah, and if the result would have been different, it would have been another smudge on Argentina's title. And for that reason too, like, congratulations to Spain. They won it in a very dominant fashion. They played a clean game, a clean tournament, really, and they were just very dominant. Maybe not flashy in terms of overpowering teams with goals, but they were super solid. Only one goal allowed, which we got to see in person, actually.
Yeah. Funny enough. Yeah. And I think that was a record, right? I think, and the funny part, the record was held before was 2 goals, and it was Spain in 2010. World
Really?
Cup. They gave up 2 goals that World Cup.
Wow.
And so it was like they kind of beat their own record. But then again, I guess it makes sense because their history, and I'm glad they kind of came back to this, is like they are a possession team. They are gonna like kill you by 1,000 cuts. Like, and I will agree, like some of the statements that's like they might not play the most beautiful in terms of like a neutral. Like, it's not the most exciting. It's like if you're a neutral, you probably don't want to watch Spain play because it's boring, so to speak. But for like someone that watches soccer, it's like I think maybe you can like appreciate like how hard it is to do what they're doing. But for a neutral, like that was a pretty boring final, honestly. Like for most of it, if you can't appreciate like the little things of like keeping possession, pressing, all that stuff.
It's boring because they control, and it reminds me of a commercial. I think it was like an insurance company talking about how their business is boring, but because they're boring, it's actually pretty cool. So that could be like a way to look at it. Yeah, they control the ball, so yeah, that's why you're used to a little bit maybe more back and forth, but they just don't let you do that. So it's boring because they're that good.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like people were talking about it after, and they were saying, yeah, obviously it was a boring game for the neutral, but they're like, but if you know about this is like one of the most dominant performances. But if you ask anybody, they don't think that, right? Like no one thinks it was a dominant performance, but it's like a 1-0 and you think they won by a landslide, but it was 1-0, right? And you have like, this is a very like clear one of like the scoreboard didn't actually determine how the game was played.
Yeah, totally. And I think if we got like not a exciting game for the final, I think the third place game was kind of like what your traditional like more fun game where it felt kind of like a backyard soccer type of deal. So that's where you got like your goal fest basically.
Yeah, we did that one live, right? But I don't think we watched the whole thing. I think we watched the first half where it was 4-0 England, right?
Yeah.
It was 4-0 at the half. And then kind of France kind of came back, and then it kind of, then obviously England kind of finished it off. I think they went, what was it, 6-4 was the final, which is crazy to think of. And I almost think the reason they were able to do that is because, I'm not gonna say they didn't care, but it wasn't as meaningful of a game, because I feel like you don't take those risks if not if you care, but like there's more pressure, in these big games, which we saw by France's previous games, England's previous games, like they weren't playing like that the whole time.
No, not at all.
Just going back and forth and running around. And so it's like sometimes when the stakes are a little bit lower, like that they were able to score a bunch of goals, but yeah, that was the fun fireworks, like good game for a neutral to watch.
Mbappé got his golden boot, and then I think the end of that game kind of felt like when you're like, oh, last goal wins type of energy. They're
like everyone was like, let's send everybody, like let's go, let's get this,
basically,
which is what you want to see, right? Like as a neutral, you want to see like, let's go see more goals, let's see everyone just send everything, like don't leave anyone back. So That was definitely fun to watch. But I guess I want to ask you a question about that specifically and the Golden Boot. Do you think that the third place games goals should count towards a Golden Boot? And at the same time, like, do you think that should count towards like the World Cup records? Because obviously, like, for people that don't know, like, Mbappe was tied with Messi. Then he ended up scoring, I think, was it 10 goals total?
Yeah,
they were at 8.
Yeah, the difference. I'm not sure
what
it was, but the difference came on the third place game, basically.
Yeah, because they were tied going into it, and then so he got more goals, or the 2 more, and then also now has the most goals ever in World Cup history. Like, what are your thoughts on the third place game because of what we said, like the stakes maybe not being the highest, counting towards that tally?
I think it should count. It's still part of the World Cup. It's you made it to the semifinal, so I think it should count. Obviously, like, if you look at the, I guess, like, script of the situation, it's lower stakes, so like it kind of lends itself to allow for more goals. But at the same time, he could have not decided not to play. Like, Harry Kane decided not to play, or didn't play. And the same goes for maybe teams that don't make it as far. Like, James Rodriguez won the Golden Boot, I think, in 2014, and they made it to the quarters, so like final 8. So I think, if like, it's never like a super fair in the sense of like the scenarios. It's not like 1 for 1. Like, now that there's one more game in the World Cup, it'll be easier for like the all-time record to become bigger. And then if they make it like 64 teams, like, talk about, then you'll see players score like 12, 13 goals maybe in the tournament. So I think it should count. It's definitely more like like, what? Okay, like, sure. It's kind of like maybe like how penalties count, like, to your goal count for like a season.
Yeah, but see, I would think of it almost as like if you did a penalty shootout, if that counted towards your season. Okay, it's like,
that can,
you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But as obviously you're wearing the England jersey, they won. I'm wearing the Spain one, they won. What do you think was? It was a tale of 2 halves, right? It was all England in the first half. Started off kind of all France for most of it, and then England came back at the end. What do you think happened? Do you think France just kind of maybe didn't care too much, and then they're like, "Oh shit, we're like getting destroyed," and then they came back? Like, what was your thought on the kind of the game itself?
Yeah, I think they thought, hey, we need to defend our jersey. We need to also send Deschamps off in better fashion than this. Like, come on, like, we are not people that get like beat around like this. Like, we have to. So I think it was just a little bit a sense of pride that came in. I'm not wearing it for that reason, though. I'm wearing it because it's gonna be Harry Kane's birthday today by the time you're listening to this.
What else does that mean, Mario?
I wonder what.
It is your birthday twin after all, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's also my birthday, so I'm just being self-centered, I guess.
Exactly. So happy early birthday, or not early birthday, depending on when people are listening to it, to you, Mario. So, congrats. Only turned 36 one time, right?
Hey, 33.
But I guess back to the game. I don't know. I thought it was just super interesting. I'm glad that France came back. I was honestly going to turn the game off because it was kind of starting to be like, all right, this is just like, I don't even want to watch this anymore. But then once like France came out within like 3 minutes, scored a goal, and then another 3 minutes after that scored another one, and then they scored another one. I'm like, holy crap! Like, this is about to get crazy.
Yeah. And then Jude Bellingham goal at the end too was really nice.
And he had missed one that he kind of did something like where he juked everybody out and then like ended up getting the ball taken away. And he only played the second half also of that game. So, and I think that was also another concern, was like England was resting a lot of their guys and then still were dominating. France had a couple of guys, but the big names like Olise and Mbappé were all playing. And Olise, I think, had played probably like the most disappointing game, I think, out of that we've seen him play. But yeah, at least like you said, at least that was the exciting one. Then followed up, everyone thought the exciting one was going to be the next day, but it was kind of more of a snooze fest, right?
Yeah, no, it was so fun, and it was just nice to see like Spain finish what they had basically been doing the whole tournament.
Yeah, so congrats to Spain, congrats to me. I said it from day one. And I remember I did double down. I was like, I still think they're going to win the World Cup. It wasn't a good start, but I'm still confident. And I will say, like, they built up after every match. I think I felt more and more and more comfortable that they were going to win. Like after that first, obviously, like the Cape Verde, which, to go back on, how much more impressive was what they did. Like, they held Spain to 0 goals. They were the only team to tie, and like how that's even more impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive what Cabo Verde did. And on that note, Sidney Lopez Cabral, he got the goal of the tournament. Again, it's the 2-2 equalizer against Argentina in extra time. They went on to lose 3-2, but it still was a beautiful goal, which was a moment that I cried in the tournament after the fact. Bociña also signed with Chilean club Colo Colo. So that's also good news for the Cabo Verde side. But going back on basically Spain and their kind of mirroring 2010, I had seen a post about a lot of similarities between the 2010 World Cup and 2016. I'm reciting off memory, but some of them were both teams had 8 Barcelona players. The year that happened, again, 2010 and 2016, Real Madrid announced Mourinho as their head coach. Then both of these World Cups they were in Group H. Mexico, South Africa was the opening game. There was a few other things.
The same day. The opening game was the exact same day.
Exact same day. They started off kind of shaky in the sense that Spain lost their first game in 2010, and in 2026 they tied. And there was a few more.
There was a couple more. I think it was like Barcelona won the league and the Copa del Rey. Real Madrid had not won anything. So it was something like there was a lot of similarities. I saw one that recently that was saying that it was Rafa Nadal was like the youngest person to ever win the career Grand Slam. And then this year, Carlos Alcaraz was the first person, the youngest now again, to win the career Grand Slam. So obviously, after the fact, it's like so easy to pinpoint all this stuff.
Yeah,
but I will say like there was pages doing that stuff early on, like especially the same day, same opponents, like Group H, Mexico, South Africa. Like there was a lot of similarities in like the World Cup itself without bringing other externalities out.
Yeah, so pretty crazy. And then if we're looking to the future, Spain won the Euros before they won the World Cup, and then they went on to win another Euros. So I wonder if they'll finish basically the pattern in terms of trophy dominance.
Yeah, now they're the most winningest side like in a row. I think they've won 37 or 38 games in a row. They beat like Italy's I think record that they had. The coach De La Fuente hasn't lost in a major tournament yet. They lost in the Nations League, but they tied. So like I think so I actually learned this time that if you tie and go to penalties, technically it doesn't count as a loss.
Okay, makes sense.
Which I didn't know. And so he won the Euros, didn't lose a game. Won the World Cup, obviously didn't lose a game. And so it seems like kind of similar dominance. I've seen a lot of people naming Spain like the team of the century already, just because obviously they won in 2010, won in 2016, won 4 of the last 5 major trophies. They just didn't win 1 Euros in there. So yeah, I said, what a time to be alive. I'm excited that I get to like at least enjoy this.
And they get to host the next World Cup too.
Exactly. And potentially the final. I heard there's still maybe some debate on whether it's going to be in Morocco or whether it's going to be in Madrid, but being able to host a World Cup and then they stop under the Euros in the middle of it. Like, granted, like I don't see anybody beating Spain right now. Obviously we thought France, but in any given day, it's probably a France, a Portugal, a Germany, a Netherlands. Like it's all European teams, right? So then you're like, oh crap, like all right, we got to do this whole World Cup tournament almost again in a couple of years. But I think definitely excited for everything that's to come, man. I think I saw stuff of the next World Cup. I mean, Yamal's gonna be 23, like Kubarsi is gonna be 23. So the team is still so young. Like even I think Cucurella is gonna be like 34, 35. So and he's like the older, players that they have. So it's very, very giving a lot of parallels to the 2010 team because they were all so young when they were doing that. So they were able to come back. So yeah, man, super exciting. And we'll see whoever comes behind because I think Fermin Lopez also got injured, so he wasn't able to play. I mean, there's a couple of other defenders that didn't get a chance to play. And so I think there's still a lot of potential, but everybody kept going back to like the fact that like from a young age, like Spain plays the exact same way from when they're like under 10s to like all the way to the World Cup, like the like number 1 squad. And so it's like the fact that they're like kind of developing under that same mindset. And that's what people were saying was like what other nations should take away. It's like grow your players to play this exact same way in the national team. And then by the time they get to the first team, it doesn't matter what they play at Chelsea, what they play at Arsenal, what they play, like they know how they play in the national team.
Wow, because they developed their core strengths to the basically structure that fits the national team, where maybe you might be a player that's really good in a certain style, but your national team plays differently.
Exactly, and they just kind of lock into that, and they haven't changed it. And so I think that's they changed it a little bit when they were like when they didn't win those times, but now they're back to like the possession football. It's not tiki taka like it was with Barcelona, like that pretty football, but they're still like we're going to keep possession and we're going to kind of go through it. But it's also just crazy for Spain right now. Like they won the Women's World Cup, won the Men's World Cup, won the Euros, won the under 17, I think Euros, under 19 Euros. Like they won the Olympics. Like so.
Oh yeah, that's true. Wow.
I think it was like the first time that the male and female team have held the World Cup at the same time, and there's only like I think 3 countries that have even won both sides of the World Cup. I want to say it was like maybe Germany, Spain, and there was maybe like one more.
Damn, dude.
Country that had
when's the FIBA World Cup, man? Right now, it's
the basketball one, right?
Yeah, it's looking like a good time right now. If you're Spanish, you've been putting off anything. Go do it right now.
Right? Yeah. Obviously, I'm very pumped about all that stuff. So it's an exciting time to be a Spain fan. I think, at least for the soccer, the football world. Just it seems like at all levels right now they're kind of dominating, and who knows if it'll work going forward. But I mean, the fact that they have a really solid first team, but obviously the sub 17, sub 19 also won. So like they're going to have some quality players to be able to back these guys up once they get a little bit older. So maybe it's another kind of second golden generation.
Must be nice. Amilcar must be nice. I guess the question is now, do we need to change our pitch report theme, because our theme is the narration from Iniesta's game-winning goal?
I know. I have to hear. I don't know that I've heard the Spanish version. I have either, actually. One. And the Spanish version of the Iniesta was going everywhere. Like, yeah. And then they just showed like the video. The guys like freaking out, like screaming and going crazy. So, I did watch it with the Argentinian broadcaster, which is not my favorite and wasn't ideal. I had to watch it in English.
I was at a restaurant bar in Venice.
But at least he gave credit where credit was due, and he was like at the end he was I guess happy so to speak for Spain. But it's like anytime Argentina would get the ball and they would go on a counter, it was like they scored. It was like, oh my god! It was nice. You're like, whoa, what's going on? Like they got possession. Oh my god! But anyways, enough about that. I'm excited. I'm glad it wrapped up this way. And it was in the U.S. and we got to go to a quarterfinal match, which is also like something super exciting. First World Cup match. So yeah, now we can close that chapter and start, now looking into like the club football world, which I know Real Madrid is making a bunch of splashes on, whether we think they're too expensive or not expensive. But they're making a lot of stuff. I think you talked about a couple of changes, but I mean, I don't think we mentioned how Zidane, you talked about Deschamps leaving, but like Zidane's officially now appointed and he's going to go through next World Cup. So 2030. So we'll do the Euros in there. Who else? It was, Jürgen Klopp.
Oh, Jürgen Klopp. Yeah.
So a lot of huge name coaches, like those guys are, at least in the club level, they've been lights out.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty baller too. In his first interview with the German press was basically like, hey, if you guys disrespect my family, I'm walking out. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you.
Yeah. And he was also like, this is it. Like, I'm done coaching after this. So like, this is the last thing I'm doing. So yeah, he's like, if you don't like me, I'll leave. If I'm not happy, I'll leave. Like, I don't care, So it's like, it just goes to show like how confident he is in his skills and how much he knows like Germany's not in a good spot right now. And they really, really need a good coach.
Yeah. Let's see if he can deliver. He's done it before. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, what the future holds in international
and the
soccer.
Zidane appointment's also going to be crazy because I just have how well he played, how well he did with Real Madrid, and Real Madrid had a similar but a similar situation as to what France does with just a bunch of huge names, and it's like all you got to do is just figure out how to get them all to play together. And if you can do that, like we said, I think going into the World Cup, we're like, dude, this team could be unstoppable, and that's a scary one. I think that I'm almost more concerned about that one than I am about the Germany one. The one surprise, and I wonder if you're surprised too, is that are you surprised that England didn't fire Thomas Tuchel?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it was definitely a mistake, but the team's looking good overall. Like mistake referencing maybe the tactical decisions in the second half against Argentina. But all in all, I think the team's played pretty well for the time being. I think they'll see how he performs in the next Euros. I mean, England's been a team that's been right there for a long time. They were semi-finalists in 2018. They were finalists in the Euros in 2020. So they're right there. They're just shy of like making that jump.
But
So
wasn't he supposed to be the final piece? Like, I think the issue was like Gareth Southgate wasn't good tactically. So they're like, oh, okay, like Thomas Tuchel, best tactical manager, this and that. And then the one time like that they end up losing was for tactics. Like, it wasn't for the team. Like, obviously he had a bunch of criticism for leaving like Trent Alexander-Arnold, Cole Palmer. Like, he left so many players out.
Yeah.
And he was able to kind of get over that because they played well enough to obviously get to the semis. But then for it to be like your strong suit and the thing that's been letting England down for all these, like you said, they make it to all these finals, semis, quarters, is because tactically they weren't as strong. And then that for that to be the reason, I think that's why I think it was such a big deal to me.
Yeah, I think they'll give them through the Euros, and then we'll see what happens there. But it does prove still that it's a national-born coach that gets the job done so far, and it looks like that'll continue at least for another 4 years to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
And another head coach too that started is Rafa Márquez with the Mexican national team.
Oh yeah, that one kind of went under the radar a little bit, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it did. I think
he was already assistant coach, right? So he kind of already like elevated coach to the next level. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of like already agreed upon that he was going to begin like his cycle after the World Cup ended. I think the Mexican fan on average is very happy with how the tournament went. And off fronts really. So I think the vibes are good and optimistic. I think Rafa Márquez, he's a very accomplished player, and he's commands a lot of respect from the just Mexican soccer world, really. And I think he's a very prepared coach. He coached Barcelona youth teams, so I think he has a lot of qualifications to hopefully continue building on a good World Cup for Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and like we talked about, they have some pretty like standout young players. Like we were talking about Guillermo Mora, but like they have a lot of other players that are also young, and so you're hoping kind of like they grow up and develop into like the player that you think they're going to be, and then they kind of end up, working out. And you already said you're going to have kind of home field advantage for at least the Morocco portion, because the Morocco already said like, we're going to bring you guys in like you guys treated us, so you better expect at least home field advantage. And honestly, like I feel like there was a lot of like good moments between like the Spain coach and Mexico. Like he used like ECC at the end.
Yeah.
And he was like my Mexican friends say, ECC. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of camaraderie between Spain and Mexico. So it'll be fun. And hopefully we can make it out there to some games in all three countries.
Yeah, I'm excited. But, as you wrap up the World Cup, I'm thinking like potentially like the sad news, obviously, of like Ronaldo maybe last World Cup, Luka Modric probably likely last World Cup.
A lot of
James, yeah.
A lot of big names. Probably Kevin De Bruyne.
True.
This will be like kind of like, I feel like 2006. They look up if you look back and they show like all the like stars that played in that World Cup, and you have Beckham, you have Ronaldinho, you have Figo, Ronaldo, Messi, like a combination of young and like veterans at that point, and Rafa Márquez, and you have a lot of kind of, I feel like that kind of sense of the like a similar thing where we have probably future legends and current legends with Mbappé, Yamal, Messi, Ronaldo. So yeah, it's always sad to see. Hopefully Harry Kane plays another one so that I don't feel old. But probably this might have been his last one at 37. I don't know how he'll be doing. But yeah, there's a lot of players that were. Oh, Salah probably, Sadio Mane. Yeah, a lot of I'm blanking on his name from Leicester City. Mahrez. Yes.
N'Golo Kante, he didn't really play, but probably.
Oh yeah, I was bummed he got no minutes. Actually, I'm kind of bummed, but I mean, still 3 World Cup. I guess 2 World Cup finals, 1 semifinal. That guy's a legend too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many like amazing players.
Yeah, I love the parallel with 2006, because I think 2006 was like, I feel like there's always one World Cup where you see like the old and the new.
Yeah.
And I feel like
2006 played. Sorry.
Yeah. Because that was Zidane, that was Figo, that was like a lot of the like really, really big names that were like on their way out, like probably Beckham's. And then this
Cannavaro.
one is similar, right? It's like you have
Yeah.
those big names, but then you also have like back then you had the Ronaldos, the Messis, like all those guys kind of coming up and pushing them out. And now you have like the Yamal, the Mbappe kind of pushing the older guys out. And it's just like, it almost makes you feel like, all right, like football's in good hands. You know, you still got like another like level of maybe you don't have the Ronaldo Messi, but you have really great caliber players that are going to be able to like elevate the game in a worldwide like level. And I think I mean both like in marketing and in like just pure like on field ability. So I think Mbappe and Yamal, I think they've shown, obviously, especially Yamal during this World Cup has shown like the marketing that this guy is. You know, it's like he's pure marketing. Like the fact that his little brother has got like as much hype as he does. And Mbappe, obviously, we already know that guy's just like that box office, right? So just having a lot of big names, it's kind of nice to be like, all right, we have another like someone to like leave it to, you know what I mean? And I feel like I'm glad that Ronaldo and Messi played this potentially like this extra World Cup that they maybe didn't need to, because we do have that transition where we never had a World Cup that felt like uneven or like it wasn't like we didn't have big names or big players and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I tried, and I mentioned it during the tournament, I tried to do my best to enjoy that aspect of it. Even like when Spain was playing Argentina in the final, I was trying to like appreciate like this is probably the last time I see Messi play in this tournament. So trying to kind of just like enjoy that. Because
do you think that's it for him?
I think maybe a Copa America, and that's about it. I don't think he literally has nothing else to prove. Just the fact that they made it to the final again, I didn't think they would go that far. I mean, it was under maybe shady circumstances, but yeah, I think maybe a Copa America.
He's 39 right now, right?
Something like that.
He like turned
during the tournament.
During the tournament to 39, so he'd be what, 43?
Yeah.
So that's like kind of what Ronaldo's
41.
41. So that would still be like a lot, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But a Copa America 40, 41, I think. I also will say, I think, and I know we're like just totally changing topics, I feel like the Copa America is much more physical than some of these World Cups, because I think all Latin American teams play very hard-nosed physical football. And so I think that's almost even harder to play a Copa America than the World Cup sometimes.
Yeah, I think Ronaldo's done too. Maybe I think could very likely still be playing club soccer. But Portugal's too good. Like, I don't think they would necessarily need him.
Yeah, and I don't think he's meant to play the role, like we've said. Like, he's not going to come off the bench. That's just not who he is.
Yeah.
At least from who we've seen so far, for him to be like, and does he need that? Like, no. I think now he's playing because he just loves it. Like, I mean, he could have stopped playing at 38 and been fine, right? With everything he's won and whatnot. But I think now, same thing with Messi, they're just playing because they just love playing the game, and they're just like, it's exciting, you know, and they still get to do what they love. And I just hope that they can retire on their own terms and be like, all right, I'm going to say this is it. Not like my body's failing me. Like we've seen, you know, people retire. But I'm glad they also went to the end of it. Like, something that frustrates me, like, is Toni Kroos retiring so early, or like Zidane, like he had way more left. And you're like, like, I wish you would have gone a little bit more. Like, I get wanting to do it on your own terms, but like, I wish you would have given us a little more.
Dude, I still remember Googling it even after Zidane retired, like, oh, would he come back maybe? Like, yeah, I just hope. I totally, like, I really felt that too. And then you would see the articles where, like, oh, Zidane at practice still, like, balls out. He's, like, better than some of the players. And you're like, dude, you still had it. How are you not, like, let me get back in there? I think it was different times, though, too. We're talking about 20 years. It's not that long in our collective memory, maybe. But it was just,
I think, put it that way. Damn, 20 years. I guess 2006 was that long ago. Whoa.
Yeah. You really notice it when you watch documentaries from that point in time, and you see pictures and things like that. And you're like,
black and white. Okay.
Oh, it's just like different. It like the game was popular, but not to the extent that it is. It wasn't like the huge marketing machine that it is now. Like, if you look at like who sponsors like jerseys now, like for club teams, it's like these giant enterprises, where back then it was so enterprises that were like domestic industries within their respective countries. Like in the Premier League, you'd still have like a beer brand from like the region sponsoring like a club team, like a Newcastle or something like that. And now it's like the biggest gambling site in the world, basically.
Yeah, or like Emirates that sponsors, it seems like, half of the soccer teams of the world.
Yeah, or like a whole country visited Rwanda or something.
Yeah, no, there's crazy. And like, I will say, like, I think that's a big difference. I even see in the World Cup uniforms, I feel like the domination of the Adidas Nike monopoly or duopoly, I guess. You see even more because when we did the World Cup last time, I feel like one of the exciting things that we liked about the jerseys was like there was so many like unique brands to the country that they were from. So we're like, oh, we have to like look it up. And I feel like this year was a lot less of that like unique brand. And like, I mean, even Cabo Verde, they're going to get sponsored by either a Nike, a Puma, and Adidas. Like it's just a matter of time before that happens.
The jerseys were on sale for like decently cheap. I got some Instagram ads. I think their original jersey was like maybe $40, $50, which I kind of
was Alibaba Mario.
No, it was like the brand that makes them. Then Iran, I didn't know their brand, but it was kind of cool with the leopard, and then Kelme sponsored I think one or two teams. It's a one with like it had like I think it's called Kelme. It was like a little like paw on the jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was cool. But talking about like jerseys, I think the biggest winner of the World Cup, maybe more so than Spain, is Adidas. The final was between Adidas sponsored teams, Spain and Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
With Argentina's with an Adidas Messi, arguably the biggest player in the world.
Yeah.
With an Adidas Lamine Yamal, who's like the next biggest player in the world. So yeah, I think Adidas is the clear winner. If
it's crazy because
there was one.
There was 2 and 2, right? So it was 2 Nikes, which was England and France, and they both lost. So then it's like Adidas, ended up doing that. So, and I think also talking about Adidas, I think Mexico was like broke records for like how many jerseys they sold, and they're also Adidas sponsored.
Yeah.
So yeah, they made a lot of money, and even though they had like I think in terms of like the shoe sponsors, like that whole mess up about everyone had pink cleats, so like none of them looked any different than they would have thought. So even with that mess up, they still ended up dominating. But it goes to show, I think Nike, I want to say Nike has more sponsors. Like I think when you look at the total, I want to say they might have more in the World Cup, if not pretty close to even. But I think some of them, the really, really big teams end up being Adidas, and then the rest is history on that one at least.
So 13 different sports brands supplying kits. I would have not guessed.
Which I guess with 48 teams, it makes a little more sense, right?
Yeah. Okay, so Adidas with 14, Nike with 12, Puma with 11, surprising. Kelme had 2, Bosnia and Jordan. Capelli Sport, that was Cape Verde. Umbro, Congo. I love Umbro. I think they make cool Umbro jerseys. I wish they would sponsor Nike again.
Yeah.
Sorry, sponsor England again. There's a story there for another time how Nike got the England contract through Umbro, but Marathon for Ecuador, Saeta for Haiti, then Marouge for Iran, Jayco for Iraq, and Reebok. Oh yeah, Panama's Reeboks. Okay, cool. Oh,
you know who I didn't see?
And Seven Saber. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say Kappa. I was like, I feel like that was a lot of Kappa with it. That's one with like the 2 girls like on the logo, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Tunisia.
That's a cool logo. Yeah. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, they're a very cool logo.
Yeah, they sponsored Barcelona like back in like the early 2000s, late 90s.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty cool.
That's a cool vintage jersey to have, like something like that, especially because they've been Nike for so long now.
Yeah.
It's like same thing with having like a Real Madrid jersey that's not Adidas. You're like, whoa, this is like very vintage.
I wouldn't even know those existed.
Yeah, I was like probably around the same time, honestly, as we were talking about with Barcelona, but I can't think of when their last sponsor was or something like that. But anyways, Mario, you have one final announcement about a documentary that came out about one of my coaches.
The special one.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about him
literally and figuratively. The special one, the documentary, and the person.
Mourinho documentary. As he calls himself, I am the special one. It's coming out, I believe, August 11th. It should be pretty exciting to learn more about this coach. I'm curious to see what it can tell us that we can look forward to with him being appointed the Real Madrid coach.
Yeah, do you know what the time period was that they did it?
I believe it's like the whole story, basically from like the pre-Porto days, and then I think through maybe like the Real Madrid days. I don't know if it goes to like current day. I'm assuming it goes his whole life. It's a 3-part documentary, is my understanding.
Yeah, those are cool, man, because I feel like you get so much behind the scenes stuff that you're like, wait, I watched that game, but I didn't think that was going on in the background. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or when they bring in like other players, or like by players, I mean like literally like players in, or not figuratively, like players in his life story, and they give their commentary on like what it was
Who was
like. Or,
Mourinho when he was
yeah,
like 12 years old? You know, we all want to know.
yeah.
Oh man, so yeah, so we'll have to watch that. You said August 11th, so in a couple of weeks. I'm definitely going to be tuning in for that one. I feel like I've seen a lot of really good documentaries lately, so I'm glad that we're hitting like the sports stuff. So I'm very pumped about that. But Mario, anything else you want to leave us with?
No, I think that's about it. I'm surprisingly not as sad that the World Cup ended. I feel like I got my fill for the whole tournament, so I'm not sad it's over. I'm happy that it happened.
There you go. And we'll leave it with that, Mario. I think that's a perfect way to end the episode. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to follow us at _Pitch Report and at Pitch Report Pod on YouTube to watch this video. Thanks for joining us. And I'm Amilcar.
I'm Mario.
Thank you.
Bye. Sweet.